Hello, today on the Dungeon channel I will show you guys how to make the peeing monk fountain of St. Egnatius. It's a very simple build. You probably won't need anything you can't get at the local craft store or the local hardware store. So let's get to it. So to get started we need a couple of things. The first thing we need is of course the fountain itself. I made it out of Hirst Art's molds, the riverstone kind. You'll also need a 2-part epoxy glue, the clear kind, some baking paper to protect our working bench. You'll need a toothpick, some fishing wire, and a pin vise or a hand drill. The first thing we need to do is create the hole for our fountain where the water is going to come out. Now my pin vise couldn't fit the tiny drill I used, so I just took it in my hand and spun it to create the hole, exactly where the monk would be peeing out of. Now you'll notice that where we've drilled the hole, you can see the white plaster showing, so we're going to mask that using some black wash. Now I make this wash from some watered down black acrylic paint, and I apply it with a small paint brush exactly where I need it. I don't want to darken the area around it too much. Once the wash is dried, you can see that it masked the hole, and now I take the fishing wire to create the supports for the water effect. What I want to do is cut the wire to length. It's going to be approximately 1 inch or 2.5 centimeters, and cut some strands, maybe 4 or 5. I just put them on the workbench and cut them with using the lines on the cutting board. Now you want your wires to bend a bit as you glue them in. You don't want them to be straight because water, when it comes out of the fountain, doesn't flow straight down or in a diagonal line. Rather, it arches from the exit hole to the collection pool. And you want your fountain to seem as real as possible. The easiest way to cut the wire is using your X-Acto knife. Scissors will hide part of the wire as you cut it, and you might not get the length that you want. Now I take the epoxy resin and I mix up a couple of drops of it. Just a bit will do because the collection pool isn't deep. So make sure you get equal amounts of each, and then just mix them up with a toothpick till they're equally blended. Once you've mixed them up well, pick up some of the epoxy resin with a toothpick and just start spreading it around the basin till you get an even spread. At this stage, the epoxy resin is very fluid, so it should spread evenly across the base and level itself. Be sure to not let the resin overflow the edge, as that'll create a spilling effect and will probably ruin your entire work. But be sure to have it spread across the monk's feet so that it seems that as if he's standing inside the collection pool. Now, while the resin is still wet, I take fishing wire using some pincers, some tweezers. Tweezers? Pincers? Anyway. I take it, I dip both edges inside the resin, and then I place one of them inside the exit hole and the other inside the collection pool, and I start building up the supports for our water effects. Now the original resin has already dried because it takes only 5 minutes to cure, so I mix up another batch, and using the toothpick, I start applying it to the supports. Now, because the supports are already glued in place, they won't move as I do this, and I'm able to start from the upper part of the supports and pull the resin down and back up again, getting it to spread and cover all the supports and seem as if it's flowing straight from the top of the fountain to the bottom. I keep doing this till I get full coverage of all the wires. I don't want them to show. And then I keep pulling it up and down till it feels to thicken up, and then I stop. You don't want to create weird effects of water flowing up. And that's it. Once I'm done, give it 5 minutes to cure, and it'll stay like that forever. Well, I hope you found this video interesting and helpful, and if you have, please like, share, and subscribe, and hit that bell notification button to get news of our next video. I try to get them coming every week. And please consider supporting us on Patreon. Your help keeps this show running. I'd also like to say thank you to the newest supporters on Patreon that we've got, Iftach and Uri. Thank you very much, guys. Your support means the world to me. I'll see you next week.